Everybody, I'm going to switch to sharing my screen and we're going to run through HubSpot's AEO tool and how you can make it useful for yourselves. I'm just going to share the content. So here is the initial screen of the AEO tool. You will access it through the marketing menu. It'll have it at the very top as AEO. I'm going to hide the sidebar now so we can see more of this screen. From, you see here, there are 4 different tabs you can look at. You have your overall dashboard, you have your prompts view, you have a view of the citations, and then HubSpot's recommendations. On the right-hand side, you can see how many of your prompts you are using. Marketing Pro, you get 25. Marketing Enterprise, you get 50. You can add another brand that HubSpot will take an extra $50 from you to track brands separately. And then you can use this button to add prompts to either add prompts one by one or generate prompts with AI. So that will be HubSpot's AI talking about what you should be asking AI. Down here, you have a bunch of different filters that you can use to see how your performance is doing specifically. Outside of the engine one, where you can choose from all 3, or ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity, all of these others are purely internal to HubSpot and are just designed to segment the prompts. And when I tab over to that, you'll understand why. So these are all blended results. So this is the blended view of all of the prompts that you have provided HubSpot so far, how visible your brand is. So we're at 35%. So that's, not super great, not terrible. And then on the right-hand side here, you can see how that's been trending. Ours has been stable, which is kind of expected, and we haven't been super scientific with the prompts. Then on the sentiment tab, you can see ours is positive, negative. So we're at 60%, so that's positive. Yay, we want it to stay that way, head upward. On the second screen here, you can see it's the share of what it across all the prompts. Again, this is not filtered. If I filtered it down to any of those earlier filters, it would drill down. So you can see like, oh, okay, so we're showing up. We got 23% of our prompts, but that's somewhat artificial. You'll see why. And then we have, SmartBug, Impact, New Brain Hub. Like these are big, well-known partners. So it's as expected to see these names show up. So that's good. And then on this citation analysis screen, you can see the top domains that are being cited for the prompts that you are following. So HubSpot, that's good. That's to be expected. Us, that's also good to be expected for the prompts that we're using. Clash.co, that's like a directory site, that's to be expected. So this is all good. Citations by channel. So this is HubSpot just grouping all of the different domains into different buckets. It's treating HubSpot as a peer. Earned media is earned media. Review sites, that would be like the aforementioned Clutch. UGC is user-generated content, like Reddit posts, etc. Competitors are everybody else, and then own, that's us. And then there is this citations with a brand mention versus competitors. So how often do we get a brand mention in these citations versus everyone else? Some of this is a little bit esoteric. I like just looking at this top domains one, the competitor one, just to make sure we're, this tells us that we are actually looking at the right prompts, and the overall visibility. So the reason why these segments are important is, let's say, one of your prompts is a brand, and so you're asking how you're looking. So we have it filtered to brand, and because it's branded, these HubSpot zeros this out, and it's like, well, of course it's going to be branded, and then it looks weird, but that also modifies all of the other results. So that's why it's important to have these different groups, and you set them when you add your prompt. Well, let's go to the prompts tab first. So right now we're in branded, so it's only showing us that one. So this is when we have a handful of prompts here, where it was basically some guesses as to how our customers might be looking for us. One of the key things to remember about this tool is that aside from the AI-generated prompts, it does not do prompt research. You will have to do that. Either you'll have to take some guesses, ask your clients what they're searching for, or get a tool like SEMrush, which now has a prompt research tool that's similar to their well-known like keyword magic tool. So you can try to find out what people are actually prompting. Now, there's no Google Search Console for AI right now, and who knows if there ever will be. So a lot of it is also very inferred. But you can make some pretty educated guesses. And again, much like Google, keywords matter. So we have a few. We're looking at like, all right, what are the best agencies for a B2B HubSpot implementation? One thing to remember when you are creating these prompts is it might be tempting to think in like your internal lingo, like I use the word partner here, and no client is going to use HubSpot partner. They're always going to search agency. So when you are thinking of these, think of, put yourself in the client's shoes and don't use your internal jargon. Think of how they're looking for you. You can hit prompt, we'll do manually add prompt. And then here you have the option right here is where you actually enter the prompt that you want to track. And then you pick the buckets that you want it to segment to. And we have several different ICPs that we set up, and that's purely just for filtering. We have some different products, our services that we offer, and then you can also tag it by buyer's journey phase. Again, this is just if you're doing a more organized strategic view, you will have a spreadsheet where like, all right, here's our awareness prompts that we want to track, our consideration prompts, our evaluation, our decision prompts, and you bucket your prompts that way. And once you add it, you'll hit add prompts, and it will take in a minute, and it will run through, and it will give you the results. And then let's look at help me find a B2B partner for my startup. Help me find a HubSpot partner for my startup. So this will be a startup related question. It will first, pop out this slider, and you can make it bigger or narrower as is convenient. It will default to the answers tab, and then you can switch over to prompt analysis and recommendations. So in the answers tab, you have your 3 different engines. You can tab over through them. It will have up to 10 runs. So it performs a run every day. And then you can scroll through and look and see, what is the answer? This is a straight up like output from ChatGPT here. So it's telling you like, here's how you can research things. Here's like the HubSpot knowledge base. Here are some links to HubSpot. So this ended up being an instructional prompt as opposed to an actual like recommendation prompt as far as chat is concerned. And then you can go to show all and see all the citations. Now, as you go through the different runs, you'll see it will change every day. It's not like Google where there is an index of rankings and it's pretty static with very few exceptions. With AI, it reruns the token complete process every time it reruns it. So there's no answer will be alike. So again, this is just informative. It's not like a Bible where it's like, okay, you are going to be ranking #1 for this prompt. It doesn't work that way. Like this one, now in this version, it provides a bunch of recommendations and it's top partners. It's exactly who you would expect. So you can go through and see how the trend is, and here's all the citations. So you can go through all the historic runs and keep a track of how it's changing, whether it's going back and forth and whether or not your brand is showing up in them. And it works the same way in all of the other engines. It's just formatted differently based on how they all have it set up. You can see with Perplexity and also Gemini, I noticed that they have a bigger diversity of citations in their answers than chat has been, which again, they're always updating these models, so it can change at any time. But it is a pattern that I noticed while checking this as preparation, is that the answer diversity. And then so here's Google's, Gemini's answer. They're highlighting HubSpot Startup Partner Program, which is different from our implementation partner program, which is you actually get a big discount for your HubSpot subscription if you are a qualified VC-backed startup. So it's providing that information. So even though you may not have been researching that specifically, you get some extra information and you get some additional details here. Prompt analysis, so this is similar to that dashboard reports we saw on the dashboard screen, but it's specifically for this prompt instead of a bucket of prompts. So you see the competitor visibility, So who are the competitors that are showing up? Good for those guys. Visibility rate, breakdown, and then the different citations by channel, top citations overall, and then also by content types. These are similar to what we saw on the dashboard. And then on the recommendations, HubSpot is actually providing you content ideas, both on the topic and the content type, to try to get yourself to show up for those prompts. So here's kind of right. So even HubSpot is suggesting, hey, do the listicle that Rebecca mentioned when you talk about the top implementations, and just put yourself at the top, and maybe the AI will pick up on that and put you in the front. And it does that for each tab, for each prompt. One thing we found interesting. So here's the branded one that we do. So you want to have a branded one in here, so you can keep track of how you're being talked about and whether the AI is saying the right things about you. So in our case, yes, it is. It is saying exactly what we want. We are a HubSpot B2B agency in Orange County, Diamond Partner. We have specialized. So it is reading our website. It is reading HubSpot. It is reading press releases. So that's where the PR thing comes from. It's actually picking up our press release from 5 years ago, almost to the day, when we became a Diamond Partner. Well, that's nice. And then, the same thing again with all the others. You can go through and see how it's showing up. So it's giving you a little history. So you want it to look like you're trying to present yourself, because your prospects are probably, if they get a recommendation in that higher tier prompt, like, oh, give me some list of some agencies. If your brand, you show up, they're going to ask, oh, tell me more about SmartRun, or tell me more about Orange Marketing. And you want to be tracking and making sure that it's telling the right things to the customer. Then we did these two other ones. I just kind of experimenting something. We had some conversations recently with prospects where location came up. So we've been in this world for a few years now, where a lot of us, especially in the tech adjacent industry, have been like, oh, it's all nationwide, it's all global, we can serve anyone. And we had a lot of conversations more recently where with local people, where they're actually caring about the fact that we're also local. And so I wanted to see, like, all right, are we actually showing up good for locally related searches? And in our case specifically, I'm going to take a little moment to self-promote. We are actually the top-ranked Diamond Partner in Southern California. We are the #2 Diamond Partner in California, period. #1 is in San Francisco, and they're a lot bigger because they have offices in a few other countries. So, a moment of shameless self-promotion here. And this is where that Clutch website comes in, because they're kind of like an old school directory site, like Yellow Pages, etc., but for tech services type businesses, the more dialed into the location than, say, G2 or any of the formerly Gartner properties like Capterra. And so they come in. So in this case, in this run, actually, we don't come up, unfortunately. There's another agency called Orange Pegs. But we have shown up in the past, and certainly chat's not liking us right now. And here, when you're here, 3 days ago, we showed up as the top for ChatGPT, so you can see the very nice consistency that we get from the AI outputs. And then again, the same thing from all of the other guys. Here we are. Here we're number top. See, so Clutch. So those, if you're at all familiar with local SEO, there's this thing where you do the local citations and you have your name, address, place highlighted, all that jazz. So if you've been neglecting local SEO tactics, time to start focusing on those. Even if you're not necessarily a locally focused business, it can definitely help you get some of that, because the AI cares a lot about those things. So it can definitely help you out. And then same thing with Gemini. Again, it's going to be all over the place, day by day. You will see some consistency. You will see some people show up over and over again. And that is a recommendation on the prompts. On the Citations tab, we saw some of this in the prompt specific view, where you can see how you're doing when it comes to the citations and the different overviews. So this is just a specific drill down into the citations. And the same thing with the recommendations, where you get the different recommendations. I'm repeating myself here. for what you should do to try and get rankings for all of your prompts. The more prompts you have, the more ideas it will get you. It will even offer to generate it for you. And it'll tell you the type. Oh, it should be a blog, or it should be a product page on your website, like content idea. Now, this is pretty nice to have, and it can help inform your content strategy to help you rank in AI overviews. So that is my run through of this tool. I hope you found it as valuable as you expected, and I will hand it back to Rebecca for the Q&A part of this session.